right, hi everyone. Welcome back. Time now at 50 past 4, detailed tropical update.
And of course, hurricane expert Dr. Rick Knabb is in with the latest. And Dr. Knabb, what are your thoughts on this? Like, when do you think it's going to make landfall, and what do you think we're going to be looking at the time of landfall?
Just a few hours away from landfall. The wobbles that you see often with hurricanes approaching the coast is what we're seeing right now, a little bit of a left jog right now. But over the next few hours, probably before midnight, we'll see the center come ashore. And the landfall is defined, of course, as James Franklin from the Hurricane Center said, it's when the center of circulation crosses the coast. But conditions are already going downhill. Hurricane conditions in northern Mexico already onshore. And this is the best defined eye has been from Alex during its entire life cycle. Maximum winds now 100 miles per hour. That is Category 2, just upgraded a short time ago. It's moving straight off to the west, generally speaking, about 12 miles per hour. That pressure really low, 950 millibars, an incredibly low pressure for a hurricane in the month of June. Moving off to the west, the hurricane is going to make landfall, but where will the hurricane force winds occur? The greatest threat is in northern Mexico, just south of Brownsville. Boy, is Brownsville catching a break this time in terms of the sustained hurricane force winds not directly impacting them. Could have gusts still tonight approaching hurricane force, but the greatest threat for the hurricane force wind sustained is down here in Mexico. Really concerned about that area. Hopefully people are getting out of harm's way. Now, this is the band right here, north of the hurricane and just south of Brownsville, that probably has the largest, the farthest northward extent of the hurricane force winds, and the maximum winds are likely right around the eye. That's where the Category 2 hurricane force winds are occurring. In addition to the wind, rainfall. We're going to see a ton of water dropped into the Rio Grande River Valley and surrounding areas. All of this rain is going to be carried inland. Look at how the Monterey area and the mountains here are running about parallel to the Texas coast. All of that water is going to fall from the sky into this area, and there'll be an immediate flash flood concern, but then beyond that time we could have a long-term rainfall event in river flooding. But tonight and Thursday we could, in this very large area painted in green here, see some flooding in many areas, and that includes the Brownsville area up in San Antonio. But the greatest threat is down here in the Monterey area and in the mountainous portions of Mexico, where the rain will be falling into mountainous areas, and that water will accumulate and come down, get downhill, and that's where we could see some very extreme flash flooding in that area. So a grave concern for that area. But again, later on in the weekend, though all that water could accumulate from both sides of the border in the Rio Grande Valley, you could have a long-term river flood event. So the hurricane's going to make landfall tonight. The center of circulation is going to move inland over northern Mexico and eventually dissipate over the mountains. But again, with that westward track, it's going to take all of the rain and flooding potential with it. So Alexandra and Chris, this is a very serious situation, not just at the coast, but also well inland for many days to come.
All right, Dr. Knabb, thank you for joining us, and of course we'll be back and hear more from you a little bit later.
All right, well, let's of course continue our live team coverage with Jim in South Padre Island. And Jim, you've been getting sustained winds and also persistent rain, so for you it seems like it's duration rather than intensification.
Yeah, Alex, but when the rains, this is the worst rain we've had probably in about 3.5, 4 hours. Seriously, we had a heck of a dry spell, and now we're just getting crushed. I mean, and it stings. It stings just to turn around this stuff. The wind's sustained at about 40 miles an hour, and you can see what it's done here. Look at a huge deposit of seaweed here. I can't believe this thing's got a 950 millibar pressure. I mean, that's just unbelievable. If you look at the Saffir-Simpson scale, you can go into a 945 millibar pressure. That's the low end of the Cat 3. So anything lower than 945 is a Cat 4. So we only have Cat 2 winds, but with a bona fide almost Cat 4 pressure. That's just tremendous to me. And obviously, as Dr. Knabb explained so well last night, it is because of the sheer size of this thing. But here's the deal here, guys. Sporadic power outages, rain like this is going to cause more flash flooding. There's no question about it. And we're going to see the beaches continue to get eaten away. I haven't seen like huge chunks taken out of the beach, but what I have seen are pieces of the dunes that have fallen off. So the water is running up. The waves are running up the beach as a result of crashing and then taking the beach sand and pulling it and spreading it back out. So that's the kind of erosion, not the big chunks that are falling off here. There is a report that Highway 100 off to the south end of the island actually does have some overwash on it. And as long as this wind keeps up, which it will, and also some of the rainfall keeps up, we're definitely going to see more of this, guys, as we go on through the night tonight. So what you see is what you get. We expect this to continue probably right through the morning hours. Occasionally, though, we will get some breaks in the rain. And you know what? Standing out here, I'll take it. Alex and Chris, back to you.
Hey, Jim, it does look pretty nasty for you right now. How has the surf behaved? How has the beach area, since you've been there throughout the day, how has that behaved? How has it changed?
Well, Chris, look at, I mean, you can see the sea. I don't know how much you guys can see behind me here as soon as my camera is wiping the camera, but huge amounts of seaweed have rolled on in here. So because of the fact that we don't have a dune here, all that has just run right up almost to the base of our hotel. But like I said, it's not just chunks of beach taken off. It's more like the waves have run all the way up to the dunes, and it's actually chunks of dune that have come off. And in some cases, that's the worst case scenario because, guys, you know, these dunes, the one like I'm standing on here, affectionately named Mount Cantore, is what's holding back the beaches and obviously protecting the coastline, the barrier island, from the big water.
All right. And Jim, of course, the beaches really are the bread and butter of that place. It is all about the tourism there, so that's the key to protect.
They are, Alexandra, especially on a holiday weekend.
Right.
I mean, we're looking down the barrel at a July 4th weekend here where they want, obviously, this thing to get on out of here. Thursday's going to be ugly. We may not see the causeway open even during the day on Thursday. That's how big and large this thing is.
All right, Jim Cantore in South Padre Island, Texas. Thank you very much.
On Cantore Hill, if I don't say so myself. All right, strongest June hurricane since 1957, so quite a doozy. Rapid intensification, we're certainly seeing that. 100-mile-per-hour winds. It is a Category 2 hurricane and expected to make landfall within hours.
And, of course, the Weather Channel is the Hurricane Authority. Count on us for in-depth analysis, and we'll track the latest developments, and we'll hear more from Dr. Nab, our hurricane expert, coming up.